Yeah, this is the Vanessaverse podcast. What do you think?
If there was a signature spoken word poet drink that would be
Start
like
recording
that
now.
Starbucks,
Yay!
what do you think it is?
Okay, what the F is up, yo? Like, what is up? I'm currently actually recording this on for YouTube now. Yay! We are on episode number 5. What? I'm so excited. I'm excited because I wanted to do this at first. This is what I wanted to do. You know, like I wanted to do this right here. But I was not fond of the idea of going through my things, because if you can see what like the room next door looks like, it's literally piles of boxes. Piles. And you know, I just don't really want to, I did, so I didn't want to go through all of them and grab all of my equipment. Yeah, but I did. So, got my ring light out, and then I bought a new ring light because, so I have like the big studio ring light thing, but I really wanted like a small desk one, you know, like a small desk one, because I remember when I was doing like virtual open mics via Zoom and stuff, I was like, oh God, where do I put this light? And I would literally make like the studio light as small as possible and then put it on top of my table. And it was dumb. I was like, I just need a small one. I need a regular small one. Like, I like both of them. I love both of them. I love having both of them. I think it makes me feel so much more like, oh my God, I'm doing this. This is, you know, I'm on social media and stuff. So, yeah. And then this backdrop is brought to you by my Sheltons. Yay! My friends. They got me this skylight and I love it so much. I'm obsessed. So yeah, you're gonna see this as a backdrop this entire time. This is unsweetened tea, but it's good for you, sort of. So I really hope I'm not coming too like loud from this mic. Damn, I should like stop recording just so I can listen to it. Okay, now we're officially starting this podcast. I'm so sorry, y'all. I'm all over the place. I don't think it's a mess. I think it's like wonderful chaos. As my friend Kiana would say, it's chaos as a trait. So enjoy this chaos. So I'm going into my phone right now because I made some notes, because I always make notes like up for like everything. Yo, my note-taking abilities are just, someone needs to like stop me because it doesn't need to be this way. It could just all be so simple. I could just not take notes. I know people that like don't carry a planner. Actually, my planner is like right next to me, so I'm gonna show you guys. Everyone's like, every time someone sees my planner, they're like, what, you write in a planner? Yes, I write in a planner, because when you put things on paper, it's a whole different like energy when it comes to, you know, stuff. I'm not going to show you everything, but I will show you what happened in August, because yeah. But anyway, this is no one else understands this but me, so like, yeah. Anyway, as you can tell, I use my planner. Yeah. Oh, this is how I like. Anyway, it's just a lot. Anyway, it's a lot. If somebody were to not not see me write things into my planner, it's probably something I'm going to forget, because I do that often. Yeah. Yeah. I really appreciate my planner because it's totally always there for me. I have this thing where, you know, people are like, why don't you just put it in your phone? I have way too much shit on my phone. I have way too much shit like going on in my phone. Like, I'll have like a notification, then I'll check the notification, then another one, then another one. It's very easy to get into a cluster of notifications where you're like, oh shoot, this needs my attention, that needs my attention. What do I actually put my attention towards, because all these notifications keep popping up and I don't, you don't know what to do. Which is why I like the fact that they have like the D&D mode or like the focus mode and etc. now. Like, I can focus on something without something else coming to my attention, because yeah, you can just be like, oh well, just don't pay attention to it. But when you see what the notification is about and you're like, oh my gosh, that's something that I should probably pay attention to, you obviously are, it's easy to get away from what you're trying to focus on, and it just pulls you into so many different directions. But I like that, you know, with phones you have the opportunity to mute things, but it's not always good to mute things, because then you'll miss the notifications that are important, and you never know when an important notification pops up. So, but with paper, you can control what you look at, and you don't get notifications, and everything that you have on, like, right in front of you that's tangible and easy for you to like focus on, you can have your main focus on that. Yeah, and that goes with like me writing, because yeah, I'll write a lot in my notes, but I'll also write in like on paper, because I hate when I'm writing and I'm like in the groove, and then the notification pops up and I'm like, and one of the main things that I'm like, is like my Robinhood or my crypto. Not like whenever crypto is like, or the crypto notifications come on and they're like, yeah, this one went down or this one went up. I'm always like, shoot, I should be rich by now. But no, it's not the case. So yeah. Shoot, I totally went away from this episode of notes. We just went on this whole tangent about notes. I love that. We love that. Great. You probably learned absolutely nothing. So I apologize. But if you did, you're welcome. Yeah. Okay, great. You see how different it is when I have like a camera in front of my face? I feel 5 times more awkward, and I'm just a little bit more awake because I feel like I have to be, so I don't look extremely dead. Oh jeez. That was awkward. Oh yes. I don't know if I mentioned it, but my doctor did say that I'm going to have like a cough for the next like 2 to 3 weeks, which is very unfortunate because I hate when I'm talking to someone and all of a sudden I just start coughing. Especially nowadays, because everyone just thinks any part of any type of ill sickness symptom or whatever is COVID. So I promise you I don't have COVID. I'm recovering from an upper respiratory infection. So yeah. So yeah, today's episode is about slam prep be like Michael B. Jordan training in the Creed. Yep, we'd be taking our poems and running around shirtless, hitting things with our fists. Yeah, that's exactly what I do when I'm prepping for a slam. But no, deadass, like I'll be running and I'll like be reciting a poem in my head. Granted, I'm not the person that runs with headphones. I hate it. I can't hear myself. I can't hear my steps. I can't hear my breath. I can't hear the wind. And I feel like I need all those elements for me to, I guess, be in that runner's high feeling. I feel like music takes away from running. Which some people are like, that's the point. But no, that's not it for me. I actually like running. I like running distance. And I don't want to say I ran with the cross country team in high school because I didn't. I just like went to a couple of their practices. Or their summer workouts or whatever, but no, I really like running. I'm sorry guys, I don't know why I'm so thirsty. I think it's just because today I felt really sick. My stomach was like doing flips. Also, started my period today, so like I be woozy. Oh my gosh, just losing blood is it's so irritating because then now I'm like every time on my period I take more iron pills than usual, so I only take iron pills every now and then just because I don't like what it does to your poop because it makes your poop black. So, but when I'm on my period, I take iron pills more often, probably every other day or every day while I'm on my period, depending on how I feel. So, yeah, I don't feel good. I don't feel good at all. So, yeah. So I recite poems while I run in my head, even under my breath. I recite poems whenever I go to the bathroom and I look in the mirror. I'll do like a verse. It's weird. It's probably not weird for like other poets because they probably do the same thing. Maybe not. Maybe it's just me. Maybe I'm weird. And if so, yeah. Sorry, I'm weird. What else? I remember back in the day, I would have Skype meetings with my poetry mentors and prep for slams. And this was like in high school. Oh, by the way, I'm 27. So if anyone's like, well, how long was back in the day for you? how long was high school for you? Like, I hate when I get that, because I'm like someone was like, oh, what, like 3 years ago? No, fool. Try almost 10. Try almost a decade. Try a whole decade ago. But thanks for the compliment. I know I don't look like I'm 30 or whatever. So with my Hello Kitty bucket hat. Yeah. I remember screaming in my car, like screaming parts in my car, because like I've never lived in like a house where I had like, you know, like some people have their basement so that they can have some privacy and the ability to project their voice without bothering other people. I never had that. I never had a basement. Until when was the first time I had a basement? Germany. So until 2016 when I like moved into this house. Not this house. I'm not in Germany anymore. But in 2016 I had a basement. That was the first and only time I ever had a basement. And then moved like a year later into the apartment that I had. But yeah, so I don't understand the whole, yeah, I used to make poems in my basement. Yeah, no one says that. So yeah, I remember like screaming in my car and just looking like a fool in like parking lots, just because, you know, there's nowhere else for me to go to be in a private setting without bothering other people. You know, I try to be courteous. Praying. Praying before going on stage. That was always a thing. And funny story, I realized that I'm not the only one that does that. So many people pray before they go on stage, and when you're sharing a stage with other poets, sometimes y'all will do like a group prayer or like a little prep rally of poets before you go on stage and show your emotions and stuff like that. Yeah. I say that it's like training in the creed, or training like a boxer trains, because, you know, you're constantly rerunning poems over and over again until it's like muscle memory, until everything's memory, until choreography and everything, like choreography, words, breaths, whatever you do with your face, your eyes, your hands, until all of that is muscle memory, and no one can defeat you. You will be undefeated because you know your poem. Oh, I'm recording again. I'm confused. So it looks like I can't make videos that are bigger than 25 minutes on this camera. So I don't know where it like cut off, but basically I was just talking about, you know, people being made poems to a pulp, and showing everybody how hard you beat that poem up, you know what I mean? Basically it's just like, you know, all the work and effort to finally like live in your poem, and it's not always easy. Sometimes sometimes a poem is like perfect for you, and then you go to other people while you're workshopping it, and it's just not it. And when you're practicing for performance, or you're trying to get choreography down, someone else may chime in some things, or it may not be a great performance, like sometimes the performance needs a lot more of this or a lot more of that, and a lot more oomph and a lot more that. It's like sometimes the performance is good to you in the mirror, but bad to someone sitting down. And I feel like this type of feedback is very important before you actually get on stage and you throw out what you believe is to be a final product. I remember when I would coach people, I'm the type of person that cares a lot about I'm the type of poet that cares a lot about audience, and how the audience receives a poem. And I'm very biased when it comes to like conversational poems. I honestly think that's how all poems should be, is absolutely conversational. Because if there's like too much where it's like there's no room for me to have internal dialogue about what you're saying, or any room for me to feel like I have the opportunity to sit with whatever you just said, it wouldn't, the poem loses its point. It loses its point for me, which is hard for me to say, because I don't want to say that, because poetry should be the point. Your poem should be the point, and shouldn't be how I receive it. I mean, whatever you're feeling, and if what you're saying in the poem and how you're actually feeling, and how you feel about the poem, or whatever emotion that the poem is supposed to have, if that's what it is, then that's what it should be. It's hard for me to digest it. And I always gravitate towards poems that are digestible. Or really hard to digest, but very, very well put together, to the point where it's like it would be terrible for me to not like try out. Like, I imagine poems as like food. So if it's presented like really pretty or whatever, but it's kind of hot, like, it's hot, it's too hot, I gotta let it simmer down, I gotta like let it cool off a little bit, like it just came straight off the grill, or straight out the oven, or whatever. It's hard for me to take in, but that doesn't mean it's not a great poem, or it's not a poem that I'm going to pass on eating because I know this poem is good, it looks good, it smells good, it's just too hot right now, you know what I mean? But it's because you're giving it to me hot. And in some ways, I need to learn how to appreciate that, like, I need to learn to appreciate that you are giving everything to me raw. Not raw, but like, you know, like your emotions are raw, but the plate is hot. You know, the plate is like full cooked and everything, but it's fresh. You're giving it to me fresh. You're giving it to me like, oh, you know, I didn't just have this sitting. You know, the food wasn't just sitting. You didn't just give me like stale chips or whatever. Like, you gave me something hot. And but yeah, that's how I feel about like poetry performances and how they perform and how they're delivered. I really like how poets have the ability to do that, or they can give me a poem that I'm going to have to just wait out before I can like actually consume it. I like poems that I get to unpack. I like poems that make me understand the poet. And it just, I'm trying really hard to not think about like poets that, how do I say this? Poets that yell. Like, not that I'm not trying to think about them. Like, whenever poets are yelling, because I yell. Okay? I never think about like a poet yelling to be like a turn off when it comes to performance. I know some people hate it. Some people are like, there's literally no point to yell. And I honestly just feel like maybe that's trauma for some people. Maybe some people just don't like yelling, period. And, you know, like I'd be feeling bad because I don't like when I get yelled at either. So, yeah, but, when poets yell, like even myself, when I yell in my poems, I feel like I need to be conscious about, you know, people who do feel like, you know, people yelling is just not inviting to their poem. Like, they feel kind of attacked, they feel scared, and I feel bad because I know there are people that are like, yeah, you started yelling, and I'm like, oh shoot, I'm sorry, or yeah, it's just the emotions. I'm just so emotional. Yeah, but I don't like yell for too long. I don't yell a lot, and I guess it's not. It just depends. I know there are a couple of poems where I go off. And I'm just yelling, but you need to have such a powerful message behind it if you are yelling, because if you're just yelling to yell, like, that's a problem. I cannot. Like, why did no one prep you for that? Like, why did you, like, who said that was cool? You know, like, I feel like you need to go into a little bit more training or whatever. And when I say training, I mean like training like a boxer, like, you know, they're training. But I just feel like there are some poems, and right now I'm thinking of like 5 particular poets that I'm like, yeah, they yell a lot. yeah, they definitely yell, and half the time I like, especially those lines that they yell, I can never remember. Because at that time, instead of me listening to your words, I'm like, damn, she's still young. You know? Like, I'm not... At that point, I'm like, wow, she's angry. And now I'm just listening to my internal dialogue. And I don't know if you're saying anything for real. I just know that you're angry. I think poets definitely need mentors. I think that's why that was like my first episode. I feel like poets need mentors, and poets need people to tell them, hey, yo, stop yelling, or like, slow down here, be like, you know, different here, and etc. People that they trust, people that are to trust them and are comfortable enough to tell them X, Y, and Z, because other people, the world ain't gonna tell them for real. Like, no one else is gonna tell them. And it's sad when you can tell that someone doesn't have like a poetry mentor. I feel like I can tell that. Like I can tell that they just wrote, and not that they just wrote, but also like they took this poem to absolutely nobody and workshopped it. I feel like they were like, oh yeah, let's trust my instincts or whatever. And you know what? That's not a bad thing. I'm just saying we can tell. It's not a bad thing at all. I just feel like if you're going to enter a specific, like say you're doing a contest or whatever, and you're trying to like get feedback from random people, and you're not going to somebody who you necessarily trust, you're just like going to random people for feedback, then you're not going to get anything substantial. You're not going to get anything that's good for you. And that's like that's like going to random people in the gym, and you're a boxer, and you're like, hey, can you tell me if these punches are cool? And then you just give like a few punches, and then they're like, yeah, I think it's cool. Yeah, that was good. But if you go to like an actual coach or whatever, they'll probably be like, nah, you're sloppy. You're you're not, oh shit. What? One thing just stopped recording. I don't know why the recording stopped, and now we're back on the recording. But yeah, I just feel like someone could tell you that, yeah, you're sloppy. And there's a difference when you go to a poetry mentor. You have your poetry mentor with you, and they're trying to coach you through things, or trying to prep you for a slam, versus like you just prepping for a slam, but like going to like random people who you don't have the actual rapport with. Like, we don't know how your poetry, what's it called? What you're like, we don't know what you're capable of. Like, we don't know what your style is. We can't tell you how you are. Like, how like if you gave me a poem and it was about something that was personal or whatever, and you gave me this and that, and I know nothing about you, it's hard for me to give you actual feedback. It's not going to be any type of feedback that would be any better than someone who actually knows you. So I 100% feel like people should stop asking random people for feedback. these random people should not be on your list of like, let's just try this out on them or whatever. Like, go to your mentors. Go get a mentor. Go get a trainer. You know what I mean? Like, and I do the boxing thing, because, or the boxing analogy, because I do have experience taking boxing classes, and my boxing coach at the time, when I was doing boxing, he studied like my punches, my form, the way I do things, the way I work out, and tweaked the way I punched and everything to get me to be where or to be a better boxer, to be a better fighter. And I feel like that's what you need with poetry. You need someone that knows your other poems. You need someone that knows how, like, what you respond to better when it comes to being coached for slam or slam prep. Like, you need a person or people or group that actually knows you at your best and then you at your worst, and then how to push you to go and channel the best part of you where it comes to, being a poet, obviously. Like, you need someone that's going to remember what problems you keep facing. Because I've always, like for example, when I was boxing, I always had this problem where I would like throw my elbows out too much, or I wouldn't be tight enough in. And who's gonna know that more than your coach? You know what I mean? Who's gonna know that more than someone that like watches you and does these exercises with you? Like, someone who is your poetry mentor, they should be that person that knows and sees, or you don't even have to have this mentor, period, like forever. You just need somebody that knows how good you are and knows what habits you have when it comes to performing. Like, you can perform to me on the phone all day, but if I can't see you in person, I don't know what you're gonna do on that stage. Are you a fidgeter? Does your foot tap? Does your knees shake? These are things that I would like to know before I'm like, yeah, you should totally do this on stage. Or, it's something that people don't really think about until they're up there and they're performing. So I personally, like, my knees shake and my lower part of my body doesn't really move because my knees be shaking because I'm so nervous. But after like the first, I guess, 30 seconds of my poem, then I start to relax. Which is why the beginning of my poem is always the hardest to remember. It's like the last part of my poem is always the easiest to remember to me, because by that point, even in like practice, by that point, I am living in my poem. I am already comfortable in my poem. But the beginning is always so shaky because I'm always nervous. It's just those like come out on stage jitters. But if you keep going and you keep doing it, even going in to see the stage before you go to a slam, even going to see the stage and like just being at home on the stage for a little bit helps. I feel like when it comes to slam prep, try to be early. Like, try to be early to your slam. And get comfortable with that stage, because that stage is where you're going to be, you know, you. And people are more comfortable at home, so try to make it a little home for a second. Yeah. I don't really know what else to say about slam prep. I think I just told you all my secrets. So yeah. I'm gonna end this because I know this episode was a little weird because of the whole YouTube thing, and then I don't know why my recording stopped like twice. I stopped on my like camera, and then it stopped on Anchor on my computer. So very confused, but hopefully everything goes well. I'm able to like actually put things together and push it out. So yeah, thanks for listening, thanks for watching, and I'll see you again on the Vanessaverse podcast. I want you guys to please like, comment, and subscribe, or like and share, and please be nice. I know this is my first time doing this, but you know, I love all your support, and I will figure out how to not be so awkward one day. So yeah. Alright. That's all. Thanks. Bye.